entire solar industry is only talking about two things: कितने रूफटॉप अवेलेबल है, ठीक है, उसके हर रूफटॉप पे लगा दो,
हाँ,
एंड दे आर टॉकिंग अबाउट कितनी जमीन ग्राउंड माउंटेड अवेलेबल है, वहां बड़े स्केल के प्लान लगा दो. नो वन
yeah.
इज टॉकिंग अबाउट the areas where there is also need of doing a power offset with help of solar.
Hey folks, that was Shani Pandya, the visionary behind Imagine Powertree and AirX Purifiers. Shani is a pioneer in clean energy innovations. He is one of the brains behind the first ever solar tile that was gifted to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And now he's turning his attention to clean air with innovative purifiers that convert CO2 into oxygen. In this part of our conversation, we dive deep into the Indian solar energy sector. We talk everything from on the ground challenges to opportunities for creating a profitable business. Welcome to Positive Planet, a podcast focused on ideas and knowledge about sustainability and climate change. Subscribe to know how we can build a sustainable future together, because the time for climate action is now. Hello, Shani. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm good. Happy solar morning.
Thank you to you too. Are you ready?
Yes,
Should we
yes,
begin?
I'm excited. Yes, yes.
All right. So, Shani, एकदम start में start करते हैं. Your solutions are actually very good, very innovative. But behind every solution, there is a problem. So, if we start with the problem that मैंने एक थोड़े statistics जब पढ़े थे that rooftop solar in India has not picked up as much as it was expected to be.
Right.
So, any reasons that you can tell ki why it has been slow?
So there are a lot of parameters, but one of the key reason which I feel was 60 to 70% population in the any of the urban areas where the majority of the population of the country lives, right, stay in a high-rise building, right, and they don't have option to go for a solar because they don't own the terrace. That is one. Second, a lot of people want shift for their job roles to other cities, right. Many of the our Gujarati colleagues are working from Bangalore, Mumbai, and a lot of other cities in India, right. So they stay there for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years of their life cycle, right. They don't have option to go for a solar because they are rented people, right. Uh, uh, so. Uh, so there are need the India need that kind of a solution which can be enabling these people to also go for a solar, right, and that is one of the reason. Second reason parallelly is government as a infra government want to go for a solar. They have a net zero goal, they have ambitious goal to achieve, right. At the same time they also have a limited kind of a rooftop available in the city area, right. So that is also a very critical reason because government owns majority of the land in the city area, but they are planned for using for different kind of purpose, right. So because of the reason government is also not able to push for a solar, right. So that these are the, I think, land is one of the, at the end, that is the land is what it matter the most, land or the rooftop access, right. uh, these are the two critical area. And third, people also want their rooftop free because that is a party place, right. We go in the rooftop on the weekends, right. We have a beer if you're not in Gujarat, right. Then we go and have a beer in the rooftops, right, and we enjoy our terrace. So when the solar comes, it takes away everything, right, for 25 to 30 years, which also majority of people don't want to kind of do, right. In Gujarati, we fly a kite for a day. That's very important day for us, and we go on every 14th January and fly a kite, right. That is entire family goes up and enjoy the moment, right. So there are a lot of reasons. These are the emotional reasons, financial reasons, because the Indian middle class, right, you have to spend 1.5 lakh rupees for a 3 kilowatt system. The Indian middle class might not be able to spend it, right. So finance is a very important parameter. Initially, banks were not giving the loan so much easily for the solar projects. They now started to do it after PM Surya Ghar, right. So finance is a very important parameter. So it's a mix of a lot of parameters. What I consider in a very simple way is one is a land or infra or rooftop access to solar energy, right. Second is the finance as a critical thing, and third, which is very important, is the entrepreneurs, right. The entrepreneurs or the solar fighters or solar warriors who want to kind of provide solar as a service, right. This is located in the specific zones. So Gujarat has a 2000 plus solar companies, right. But when you check the Mumbai city, they don't have much, right?
Okay.
So that is where you're not able to get a good talent which can do a EPC kind of installation, entire service installation, and everything
Hmm.
in this kind of areas. So these are the, I think, three major parameters other than the policy level considerations, subsidies, and other parts and regulations. Right.
Yeah. But yeah, matlab, solar energy is actually the thing that should be going forward. Solar, because India generally receives a lot of sunlight, so we can actually utilize the potential of solar energy a lot. And of course, it's a cleaner energy. The transition would be great. So, but again, with all these challenges, अगर आपको किसी भी पब्लिक इंसान को कन्विंस करना है टू इंस्टॉल सोलर फॉर देयर होम्स और देयर अपार्टमेंट्स, लेट्स से फॉर अ बिल्डर और समवन, what will be those 2 3 benefits that can substantially help them? Kya, what will you share?
I'll give very simple example, right? For an example, if you have a 1 lakh rupees in your bank account or 1.5 lakh rupees in your bank account, right? Uh, what you're going to do? You're going to put that money in two areas. One, you are going to put up in a bank and going to do a fixed deposit, right? A fixed deposit has a 4 to 6% of interest rate. Six is a maximum. It's going to take 14 to 15 years to make your money double. That is one. Second, you're going to put up in the mutual fund or the risky kind of areas, right? Startup investment as well, equity. It's a very small amount, right? But it's risky. You're not sure you're going to make a profit and loss, right? But if you put up in the solar, right? If you're a house and putting up in the solar, and solar has a subsidy as well, you're going to make your return within a period of 3 to 3.5 years. That is where every 3.5 years you're able to make your financial saving double. Right. So that's crazy, right? That's crazy. The level consumption energy of solar is less than 2 rupees a unit. So that is where this make economically sense. And if in India, if you're making anything affordable, that is going to flourish like anything, right? That is one. Second, I was talking to one of the hotel owner yesterday in Delhi, one of the big hotel
Hmm.
owner yesterday in Delhi, right? Lot of big people want to go for a solar, right?
Hmm.
But the important challenge which I'm going to empathize with them is they understand the financial benefits, they understand the plus minus of everything about solar because solar is now a mainstream kind of power source,
Hmm.
right? But they were lacking on providing the people or the companies who can provide quality after sale service or the maintenance service, right? So they installed solar, some percentage of solar 4 years back in their own terrace in their hotel, right? First year the plant run really well, right? Then after second year, that person who installed the solar stopped responding them, right?
Hmm.
And then that's where these people are worried about going on a solar, that they are not able to get after sales service. They are not dedicated maintenance agencies which can help them to go for, right? That's also lacking parameter. At the same time, this is an opportunity for young entrepreneurs and people to go for a solar because nowadays this is going to be a boom, and I see a lot of entrepreneurs starting after sales service, dedicated after sales service company in a solar, right? That is where I believe that people are going to have a more solar shifting compared to what it was in last 10 years, right? That I think these are the two important areas, right, which one can consider when they can go for a solar, right?
From what you described right now, from maintenance part, this, like cleaning, maybe stability a little bit, but this is not, like, it's not that technically challenging kind of thing. Then any reasons why people are not entering this space as much, or they just don't know about it?
It's a manpower business. That is
Okay.
why, yeah. So manpower business are always tough because you have to do a capacity building and training of the people to work with the electricals. Because this is electricals, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that
Yeah.
is where we are lacking the capacity building as a nation, specifically in the skill jobs or green jobs, right? So you don't
Mhm.
find enough people having a knowledge on doing after sales service as a maintenance. There are processes to follow, right? There are safety standards to be followed, right? And that is where it is kind of a lot of people. That's where India is struggling. So I think there's need to be able to do a capacity building. That's where the ventures are going to come out, and they're going to have platforms or something to make it a mainstream. We are not doing it, but I see as a business opportunity. If any entrepreneur want to work out, this is very good area to work, and there's
Right.
also a lot of good money in this business. Yeah.
Interesting. Thanks for sharing that. Um, let's talk a bit on where you have implemented your solutions. So you right now, from what I saw, have implemented them in public areas like parks, sightseeing areas, street lights, all these areas, right? Where which are basically public properties. So if you have to give an estimate to someone, because I think this is also a market, if I'm correct, where someone can join in as a
Yeah,
business opportunity for solar. How big do you think is this market, in terms of demand or something? Any statistic you can share?
it's a crazy market. We are doing a one statistics of it, and we are able to realize very important gap in the market opportunities, right? Where so we'll give a very simple example. In India, 5% of India's total energy is being consumed by every day consumed by the street lights, right? From 100, 5% every day is being consumed by the street lights, right? Now there are solutions like people started to have a solar lights. We replace all the regular lights with the LED lights, but still LED light also consume a power, right? And you want to make imagine if the government has a target to make the net zero by 2070, right?
Hmm,
So light 5% is very big number comparatively,
hmm,
and you could take this as a country, right? uh, what is the option to make street light bill zero as of now? You have to get it replaced with the regular solar lights, where people are going to take
hmm,
away the batteries in the solar panels, and it's very difficult to clean and climb on each light, right?
yeah,
So what we have defined as a solution, we have did one of the case study where we installed solar tree in a footpath area and made light
hmm,
bill zero on 150 per street lights, which is 7 times cost effective than the putting up the solar street lights on each, because in the solar light you have to replace all the lights with the solar
hmm,
lights,
hmm,
right?
hmm,
So imagine a market size that India has 5% of India's power. You're just able to replace with this kind of innovative solution, right? Similarly, for our new products, for example, we are now making solar facades and solar cladding, right? That
hmm,
is a new product which is in line. Imagine 60 to 70% population staying in the high-rise building, and the majority of the India's good amount of power is consumed by the high-rise buildings, right? In any of the metro cities, there are going to be high-rise building. There are not going to be any there are going to be very less dedicated bungalows kind of a thing, right? They consume also good amount of power. It's 22 to 25% of India's total power, right? And these areas where no one is talking about in entire industry, right? In entire solar industry is only talking about two things: कितने रूपटॉप अवेलेबल है, ठीक है, उसके हर रूपटॉप पे लगा दो,
हाँ,
एंड दे आर टॉकिंग अबाउट कितनी जमीन ग्राउंड माउंटेड अवेलेबल है, वहां बड़े स्केल के प्लान लगा दो. नो वन
yeah.
इज टॉकिंग अबाउट the areas where there is also need of doing a power offset with help of solar, right? That is where, so these are the, so EV charging is going to be another area. In next
Hmm,
10 years you need a power to charge the EVs, right? Where from power is
hmm,
going to come from where, right?
hmm,
So these are the areas which no one talks about. And when you see, for example, just do a Google in very simple fact of facade, the solar facade market
hmm,
size, right? It's more than $500 billion, and do a solar market size, it's a $250 billion. So that was statistics. You just search in Google, right? uh, you're able to see this solar, the glass facade has a double the market size compared to the solar, right? That might be 2 year back market size
hmm,
being put, right? Imagine no one is targeting, because this facade can be replaced with the solar facades, right? And
hmm,
no one is targeting that particular market, which is a double the size compared to the regular one,
yeah.
right? That is where we find that these are the markets no one is touching it, right? It's a good opportunity for us if you're able to have a right products, right strategy in place. We're able to capture this market.
But given that this is a $500 billion market, then अभी तक इंडिया में there are not a lot of companies who are capturing this. Not even the bigger names who are
It's not
generally
focus.
making solar
No,
panels.
it's not focus. Imagine वो मार्केट है, वही मार्केट उनको स्ट्रगल हो रहा है. India doesn't have a capacity to produce modules. Just take an example. All the big companies in solar are module manufacturing company. Vaari, Adani, Tata. Take any
Hmm,
name, right?
yeah.
The challenge is because India has a compulsory added one mandate that if anything coming from China, they have 40% duty on a solar
Correct.
modules, right?
Hmm,
Because of that reason, it's mandatory to use any government projects or subsidy project. You have to compulsory use Indian panels, right? Now what happened, because India's solar panel manufacturing capacity, I think before 2 years it was less than a 5 gigawatt,
yeah.
right? And you just imagine 1 crore houses, 3 kilowatt in each house, that itself is a 30 gigawatt in period of one in period of 1 year.
Hmm.
So what they're also right on their strategy, right? They want to grab the available market, which is lowest hanging fruit, on capturing,
Yeah. Hmm.
right? But we see as a future what is going to be next, what is going to be next after 5 years, what is going to be next after 10 years, what is going to be after 15 years. ये market इतने सारे players है वो खा जाएंगे,
Hmm.
where we can create our value prop, right? So we can be a their merger acquisition, or we can be so big we don't have to be going to them and jumping to them to support us, right? So we are following that as a strategy, not as just going with the flow like all others are going. We are creating our own niche products for our markets, right, which are also big markets, and trying to grab on some of the projects in that particular areas and the markets.
And one more thing you talked about कि जैसे आपने ये बताया कि 5% of India's demand and all those things, and you right now talked about a lot of innovative areas in the market. In fact मुझे भी नहीं पता था ये कि even I had this notion rooftop solar or solar parks, sell it to industry, sell it to discoms.
Yeah,
That is the usual model for how you do solar, and rooftop solar in India is not picking up. The other is still. Recently I came across a project. You can search it if you want. I think Ladakh or Leh में they did a project where outside या far away जो posts होते हैं वहाँ पे they are not able to supply electricity that properly.
right.
So what they did was they rented out rooftops from people who live in that region. They gave them a small fee
Nice.
and installed solar there. So they used that power and then put that on discom and then was used somewhere else, which is I think a very innovative and nice way of a utilizing rooftop solar and then providing electricity to areas which are hard to
Yeah.
electrify. Why isn't government talking on these areas अगर government को इन चीजों की idea है?
Yeah, government already know about it. I will take an example. The example which you said, right, that was one of the first case study Gandhinagar has created in 2011.
Hmm.
Right, so all the government buildings of the ministers and everyone in the city of Gandhinagar, right, having a rooftop, right, where
Hmm.
that was being leased out by Renew Power, if I'm not wrong, when
Yeah.
they were paying the rent to the people around. But what happened
Hmm.
over the time, right? People want their terrace to be used for a other purpose, right, and they started to take it away, right? वो
Hmm.
निकालना start कर दिया उन्होंने, because it's इमोशनल थिंग मेनी टाइम्स वेयर
Yeah.
मतलब बेनिफिट कोई और ले रहा है, आपके रूफटॉप पे लगा हुआ है, तो आपको पहले जब पैसे मिल रहे हैं तब आप एक साल दो साल आप कुछ नहीं बोलोगे, बट देन व्हेन यू एक्चुअली नीड इट फॉर योर पर्सनल पर्पस, राइट, दैट्स वेयर यू स्टॉप एडॉप्टिंग इट, राइट, कि हाँ वो बेनिफिट नहीं चाहिए, या यू इंक्रीज योर स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ लिविंग बाय इंक्रीजिंग अदर इनकम सोर्स. So वो भी उनको पता है. So government knows both the part of it, right? If anything happens good, that should be supported. I'm totally on that part. But there are a lot of psychological, non-psychological, technical, non-technical, financial, non-financial parameters which that goes as a policy or a system recommendations, right? Uh, that is where I believe that that person must be a smart to take a decision and that call. That is why we have to trust on their intelligence, right? Because we are not part of the bureaucracy or not part of the ministry, so we have to trust on their intelligence on any of the calls which they are taking up as a policy level, right? But yeah, there are a lot of innovative things which can be done, uh,
Hmm.
which are being done in the USA a lot, because USA is in different way in a solar altogether. That can be done, but it's going to take its own time, energy, and the commitment things. So let's hope for the best. Yeah.
Let's talk on these innovative things क्योंकि beyond everything else you are like foundation आपका you are as an innovator, right? तो जैसे your solution for power tree was the space saving aspect, which is actually a very good innovation because that is one of the prime reasons for increased cost of power in solar. ऐसे क्या innovations that you right now mentioned maybe in US or in that are happening that are maybe someone in India engineers can work on or something like that?
So we are working on there are two parts. One is a hardware, and another one is a software. So in the hardware side, we are doing a lot of innovations where we want to be a market leader on providing a new and innovative solar solutions. Right? What are new and innovative solar solutions? There are recent report by German government and the Indian government in a collaboration way. It's a
Hmm.
GIZ and the MNRE reports that what is the market potential of India in the new and innovative solar applications. Right?
Hmm.
So they have created segments like agriculture photovoltaics, where you can do farming in the bottom areas. In the top, you can do a solar generation. That is called as agri
Hmm.
photovoltaics. Has a 2,200 gigawatt potential in India. That's huge, right? Building integrated photovoltaics, where you can convert any of the buildings, the glass or the regular one, into solar generating building compared to just
Yeah.
installing a dead asset.
Hmm.
There are areas like road integrated photovoltaics where you can use both the sides of the roads for generating solar power. Right, it's called as a road integrated photovoltaics, rail integrated photovoltaics, canal integrated photovoltaics. So this they have created detailed market sizing reports for all these areas and the potential of India. Right. So every, for example, BIP has more than a 200 gigawatt potential in India. Right. So this all markets, we want to be a kind of a market leader. We want to position our company as a market leader in this area. That's where we are focusing on creating hardware and the products which can match with the building standards, right, or match with the standards, existing standards, or the global standards, which can serve the dual purpose. So dual purpose is you do something at the bottom area or the back area of the module, right, and the front area can be used for the generating solar energy. Uh, so these are the areas which we are focusing. So for that, we are creating a product like solar facades, solar
Hmm.
cladding, solar brick, solar tile, a lot of innovative products. So you name it, right? You can. So we want to kind of make any surface solar energy generating surface. It should
Hmm.
not be a dead assets to anyone. It
Hmm.
should be a paying asset to anyone, right? That is one. Second, in a software side, we are not working as of now, but that is in a plan because USA has a policy called as a community solar. So what
Hmm.
community solar bring is you can install solar in any of the locations, right, near to your city, in where the land cost is lower, right, and you can subscribe to solar.
Yeah. Hmm.
Right. So that's where this some of the companies in India started to do it, but its policy level is very difficult because in India we don't have a nationwide policy for it, right? So that's another area which is in line, but as of now we are not focusing. So a lot of entrepreneurs can focus on that area because if something like this come, you need a AI, grid balancing, the portals, everything to be in place, so you are able to manage it properly, able to track generation, you're able to predict the generation of a solar, what is going to be generation, right, based on the AI and a lot of things around, right? So I think these two are the software you can do. The community solar is there. You can have a AI based maintenance softwares, right, which can provide you a possible outbreaks of a solar panel way before it can have, right, just by studying the moment of the currents flowing on the cables, right. There is a fluctuations on that or not. If they're reducing that, you can have sensors and they can be connected to each other. So there are a lot of areas. So drone charging. So we recently got an inquiry from the army for they wanted to have a very interesting inquiry. I'll just position if anyone want to work. We also started to work on that area. Uh, Imagine if you want to send a parcel, right, which is 4 hours from your house using a drone. Are you able to do it today? No.
No.
Imagine if the rooftops installed in the various houses in the city can work as a drone charging points,
Interesting.
right? Self drone charging points where the drone can go, they take a parcel, uh, take for 45 minutes, check which is nearby charging point, it stops there, another drone take that from that place and start their journey, and that drone get charged in that particular place, right? We got from army because army wanted to have a surveillance 24 cross 7 in the border areas. When drone has to come back to the base, then they have to send again, and then it's a different and difficult process, right? They said, yeah, I want to cover this entire area and it should be automated. Are you able to create an autonomous solar based drone charging stations? Right. So that can be used by the parcel service provider. That can be used by a lot of. There are a lot of use cases of that, right? You can connect any of the rooftops because everyone has a solar power in their top of the house. A lot of people now, right? You can connect in the charging points, right, for a drones. So there are a lot of areas, a lot of innovations which can be explored, right? Uh, Imagine your street light poles can be charging electric vehicles, right? That can be a very good way because India we don't have parkings, right? We park in the roadside areas, and you need a parking there. You can do it, right? So there are a lot of areas. Some of the areas we are working. Obviously, we're not able to work on every areas as of now. Till the time we have a kind of $1 billion in our bank balance, and we just spend it like a crazy entrepreneurs like Ellen, the way Ellen do, right? But till the time, yeah, there are a lot of business opportunities available in the segment which need to be addressed, and these all are kind of very good markets to capture. Right, that is what I believe.
So all in all, very different applications that can be done, all good for the planet, all good for profits, and I think people also a
Yeah.
pure PPP kind of
Yes.
solution that can be done by someone who's listening to this. One area we didn't talk of here, which I think your solution kind of works really good for, that is rural electrification. Because even though we call ourselves maybe 100% electrified or very closer to that or something, I still believe that have bottlenecks within our distribution companies and all those things to actually supply power. Because if you read articles today, it would be like, yeah, they do get power, but we don't know for how much time. Probably they'll get, how they used to get water supply, like just for 1 hour or 2 hours, and then people are having a queue. So uh, tell me about this, that rural electrification, how big can it be as a market for someone who's working on solar? And B, how does your solution act like a much better thing than building a solar park for it?
Okay, so as per my opinion, the rural electrification is going to work in a two to three different ways, right? One of the way is going to be, which is not us, but that can be one of the way, is creating a solar microgrids, where
Hmm.
you don't have to transmit energy from actual grid. You create a small grids, for example, one microgrid for one village, right? Where it's a solar, it's there are battery storage, batteries need to be still need to be affordable, right? And you power that entire village 24/7 through a microgrids. That is that is what actually the reliable and scalable solution can be. That is one, right? Secondly, at the same time, so we are talking to some of the African countries. I will just go as a macro perspective, right? So we are part of the International Solar Alliance, the top 10 ventures in India. So we are now also not thinking just India. We are also thinking globally where we can scale our solutions. So recently we are talking about this solar tile as a solution, right? So what happens is we are talking to some of the African people, and we realize two important aspect of it. One of the important aspect was they wanted to have a tile to be installed, and the houses can be created directly using a tile, because my tile has a super strength. It's you're able to drive a vehicle and it's not going to break. So they have stated problem statement कि अगर हमारा छत है, if you're able to create this directly छत with help of your tile, they want to have it. That is one. Second, which is very important parameter, which they have said, they have theft problems. So so solar panels are being taken away in their rural areas and other areas. If you're not able to, so they have to lock it with a chain and lockers, right? That's how the thing is. People take away. They are not in the, so it's a a lot of countries are poor nation, and they have to
Yeah.
and that's what they said ki if we have a tile and that kind of product, right, installed in our house, it's a it's a cemented concrete from the bottom, right? There is a plastic waste related product. People are not going to take away the tiles, right? Very unique and interesting problem to address, right? At the same time, they want people in the rural areas want affordable products, right? So bank has to be very active on sanctioning the loans to any of the innovative projects. Then only this is going to scale. So our solar tile, our products for the agri photovoltaics are going to be very important value prop to them. And third, which we are not focusing, but I believe that's going to be very important for the farmers or the people staying in the rural areas. You need to create something mobile. So mobile in sense of, imagine government is giving a subsidy of 70 to 80% when they install a solar pumps, right?
Hmm.
In solar pumps, they're already installing 5 kilowatt or 10 kilowatt system in their village. Imagine if they're able to carry a battery, right? When they go to the farm, the battery is being charged, pump is being used, right? And they can carry the battery, the lightweight battery, back to the house, and they are going to use for a night. Imagine a kind of a solution. So I believe the smart and the solution which are a kind of a, there is a person, this Anil Gupta sir always tell that frugal innovations are going to
Mhm.
required in the rural area, the not the fancy one. So fancy is a solar tree. I'm not going to sell the solar tree in the rural area ever, right? That's not a product for them. That's an urban product. It's a costly product. It's urban product, right? But my solar tile, the portable some products which is lighter in a weight, they can carry, farmers can carry with their bike, they connect to the bike and they can carry it to the agriculture area, and they can also carry it back to their home, right? Something which can be a crazily innovative, frugal in a nature, meant for India, I think is going to what drive the rural electrification going forward, right? So these are the ideas, these are just thought process, but I have not thought of, I come from a village area, but I have not thought of it. That's not my focus area as of now, right?
Yeah, but talking of the solar tiles, then these solar tiles, if are actually installed on terraces,
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed this one. Stay tuned for part 2.